Yeah, that's definitely something to look into that, a lot of people don't talk enough about, are the different strategies to, I don't want to say exit the market, but at the top, you are going to want to take some profits. And what do you do with that? Do you go back into dirty cash? Well, why would you want to do that when you can kind of keep it in the system and still earn even more than you can back in the traditional markets? Obviously, if you're buying a house or doing something, or a situation like that, you would want you would want it to be on the other side. But if you're not and you want to hang on till the bottom, the next bottom, why not sit there, park it, and make some nice yield?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's important to have a plan, right? Most people aren't going to have a plan.
Yep.
That's okay. That's what they're going to do. But most people probably also dealing with a few hundred or a few $1,000s. But if you're one of these people who's come in heavy into the ecosystems, you probably should put a little more thought into that. If it's going to hurt you to not understand what's happening when it happens. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, my financial coaching, I get pretty anal. So I'm like, I'll focus on first, like, even know your numbers. Like, what does that mean? I mean, some people might not even have a budget. So it starts with budgeting and making sure you understand how much you need in real life, right? Because if you're not going to pull it out of crypto, you got to have it from coming from somewhere. So you better make sure you have it. And
Right.
then beyond that, when you start talking about crypto, I kind of teach this bucket and lever methodology, which is just fancy words for saying, hey, I need a bucket of money to do this, this, and this, right? Name them whatever you want. Like I call mine my debt bucket. Like how much do I need to pull out of crypto to pay off debt for what I put into crypto, maybe, right? Some people have
Right.
done that. And then I have what I call a bridge bucket for for bridge account. What's bridge account mean? Bridge account is say we're probably gonna have another bear. So maybe I don't need anything out of crypto during another bear, right? But if I do, well, I better fill my bucket, right? So if you're intending to live off of crypto during the bear, you better have 2 years worth of expenses in that bucket. So, right, and so this is the bucketing, right? How much do you need for each of these? And then we, all of us people who talk about selling the top and buying the bottom, well,
Right.
you better have a dry powder bucket. One of these ones with that's
Yeah.
encased in glass that says "break glass, do not touch." And only
Or
break it
you
when
ain't hitting the bottom, right? If you don't
because
have that
otherwise you ain't gonna
bucket.
hit the bottom because that
Right.
a lot of people say they're gonna do stuff, but they don't do it. It's very hard
Right.
to follow through. But you have those buckets, and then the levers are try to figure out how you're gonna fill them because
Mhm.
that's another challenge, right? It's not that it's hard. I mean, anybody can market sell,
Yeah.
but market sell does affect price, and so do limit orders. And by the way, so does V3 liquidity. Nothing slows down a token momentum than somebody dropping 10 or 20,000, $50,000 worth of sell pressure on it.
Right.
So there's all these different methodologies. Try to figure out how to do that. And hey, surprise, surprise, the longer you put those processes in place, the easier it is to get value out and have a plan to get value
Yeah.
out because it takes some time, for some of these things to work.
Absolutely.
Which is why you see when like somebody gets ants in their pants, they're like, I got to get out. If you have an emergency, right, and if whatever your life is and whatever you think an emergency is, you got to pull it out of crypto. Okay, respect, right? You got to do it. You got to do it. You're going to sit there and go, well, now I'm going to set up a liquidity position and I'm going to wait 3 weeks for this to
All
fill.
right. Hmm.
Right. So this is how you define emergency. No, this is why you see people turn around and go push the button, boink. Right. And then of course on the upside when we're going up, when enough people do that, it actually turns the market.
Yeah.
I just hope more
That's why.
people learn how to use the flex and earn and even the liquid loans protocol,
Yep.
and they start exiting using those, because if we can all just figure that out, I think that'll be really, really beneficial.
Yeah, I've heard some people. You know how we've probably all three of us have heard some of this stuff about how to do that compounding, right? without getting into the details explaining it. But I heard some pretty good reports come back from a couple, well, at least one group of people. They come back to me when we had this last pump up. It was a while ago now. Did very well with actually leveraging that whole, swapping into the token that goes up and then turning around and putting it in for, as collateral to mint more of the stable in order to buy more, et cetera, and kind of do that. But yeah, that takes some concentration too.
And it takes price going up because you don't want the price to go down against you, or you're really gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because you can't over collateralize when you're doing things like that. You're playing with such a thin margin that you kind of need those tokens to buy the more, to put more in to get more. So yeah, a big red candle could really hurt that. So make sure people know what you're doing if you're going to attempt that. But
yeah,
all right,
everything
guys.
feels like trading.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. We've been here for 2 hours. Briz and Crispy, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you? At least you're not normals on this stream, but I would like to have both of you back at some point, whether it's together or separately. But
heck yeah. One last thing I just want to say is Greg A in the chat. Don't worry, man. Just hold on a little bit longer. We're almost there. If things aren't looking, really good, by Q2 of 2026, start worrying. Okay, start worrying. It's like you get 2 more years. If it's not good in 2 more years, then you can start worrying.
yeah,
But
sure.
no, but honestly though, I believe by the end of this year, I think we're gonna start seeing some really strong numbers pumping in, and then all of next year, I really believe it's gonna be strong. I think we're all gonna be pretty happy.